Star Citizen Live. We're going to be doing a react to this video. It's not a blind react. I watched it yesterday, took some notes. I got some stuff I want to say about this video. I got some stuff to talk about. So I am a new player by all standards. I've been playing for about 14 months. My enlistment date is February 12th, 2025. So I'm going to give you kind of a newer player perspective. I haven't been around as some of these other guys, probably a little bit more jaded than I am. I've been playing long enough to be a little bit jaded, but to be very cautiously hopeful about the future of this game, okay? So you're going to be getting that perspective this morning. And what else can I say about it, Twidget?
Well, I just think this particular episode is one of the really important ones for what's coming. And it's definitely worth looking at. And I'm certainly interested in hearing some of your thoughts about some of the things they talk about. I don't always agree with CIG, but I'm, in this particular case, I'm kind of, on their side with a lot of the things they do. Not everybody is, though, so we'll find out.
Hey, Ryan on TikTok followed. Thank you for the follow, Ryan. Yes. And in this episode, they're talking about inventory and crafting. So we're going to be talking a lot about inventory and crafting and all the ancillary stuff. So without any further ado, let's let Jared talk now. He stumbles around here for a minute.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of
Jared.
Star Citizen Live. And if you have any questions, Seb, that part doesn't go on YouTube, just from here.
Jared's always a little airheaded here at the beginning. He's like, well, I don't know how to start an episode.
Jared. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where normally I know my own name.
I think they just have a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're having fun, just like me. Just like me.
They told me before I had to move my heartburn medication. It's like, don't tell people you have heartburn.
He's got heartburn, everybody.
It's about where
You know what works really good for heartburn? Fucking omeprazole. That's like my lifesaver. I take a pill every morning, omeprazole. I don't have any problem letting everyone know I have heartburn. It is what it is. Okay.
Play the title sequence. Play the title sequence one more time.
Need a do-over, Jared.
Play it again, Sam. There we go. Star Citizen Live, everybody. He's still fucked up.
Hi, everybody. Well,
hey, Karen Dark on TikTok. What team is the interview with? We're going to get to that in just a second. I should probably write their names down so I can call them out. I'm going to do that. Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of Star Citizen Live. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take an hour out of our program.
They're talking about crafting and inventory,
Look.
Karen Dark.
We put up a thread and we asked you for questions about inventory and crafting. And you guys came with questions about inventory and crafting. And then these three guys, let's show them. They went through that thread and they picked 26 that they wanted to talk about today. They put them on a list. They made some notes. Some of us have the notes printed up, so make sure we don't forget stuff. And now we're here to talk to you and answer your questions. Joining us on the show this week,
All right,
Rick, tell
write
everybody
this
who you are
down.
and what you do.
Rick.
Hello, I'm Rick Porter. I'm the design director at CIG. I work both on Star Citizen and Squadron 42, but mostly lately I've been focusing on the design for Star Citizen and getting one release out after another in the last couple of years.
Yeah. 11 releases last year.
Yeah, you're right,
Pretty proud of
Jeebus.
it, honestly.
Yeah.
Jeebus on TikTok
because-
says he likes SCL, but he gets a bit irritated how giggly and silly Jared is when he starts these. He says he's been doing this for like 10 years. You'd think he'd have the hang of it by now, right? Yeah, just get to it. Get to the content. Let's go.
Only because you're next to him. I just, no. Because you don't bring me baked goods. Declan, tell everybody who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, my name's Declan or Dec.
Devin?
System designer, so it involves helping design systems and then maintain them once they're out live.
I got Devin or
Which
Deck.
is one of the things we're talking
Just
about.
very
I'm gonna
convenient
go with
for this
that.
show.
We didn't plan that at all.
No.
And Torsten, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Torsten. I'm his manager, and he's my manager.
Torsten,
It's
without a
perfect
last
understanding in
name.
between us.
Yeah.
So, you
Okay.
see the
We got
the
Darren,
way the craft
Torsten,
works.
and Rick Porter.
So the subject of today's show is crafting and inventory.
Yay.
In our latest major release, 4.7. 4.7. Nobody nodded. They were just completely oblivious.
That's the previous one, yes.
Yeah, we introduced a first iteration of crafting to the persistent universe, where we begin this long journey
Declan
of putting
Ordette.
greater
Thanks,
agency
Cousin
and control
Jeebus.
of the player experience into the hands of those people who play the game, or don't play the game. They just watch the shows and make unfortunate comments. Also, we updated crafting with a big interface update for crafting and whatnot. So, like I said, let's get the questions. Zerator says Jared. Yes, Zerator. You took up 5 lines in Twitch chat. I'll stop the whole show. What do you want?
Yeah, let's stop the show for a Twitch.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind
comment.
of show.
Yeah, that kind of show, everybody.
You didn't know this? You didn't know this by this point? It's going to be that
This
kind
is going to be that kind of show too.
Nothing. Zerator is suspiciously quiet now. All right. So let's jump into the questions we got. These are in no particular order. Right off the bat, will we be able to increase quality of a material? Now, this is a big thing because in 4.7, not just crafting come online, but a major change to all materials where now it's not just, hey, I'm grabbing iron and hey, I'm grabbing aluminum. I almost said aluminium because I've been here 4 years. Now you have to search for varying qualities and get the best qualities and stuff. Will we be able to increase the quality of such material?
Yeah, start with a hot question. Current plan is no. You won't be able to increase the quality
No,
of the material.
not
And
gonna
there's a
be
few
able to
aspects that
increase
go into that.
quality.
Firstly,
And
we would
here's
like
why.
rare materials and valuable materials to remain rare and valuable. Concern being that if I can take a large chunk of low quality, condense it into high quality, given enough time, players will have high quality everything. And that greatly devalues the future play trading opportunities, where we really want to see the scenario of a player finds a super high rare, high value ore deposit, and perhaps on their player base they set up a shop, and then you have people coming to your shop and buying from you, and you get to interact with them and so on. The second part is there is a need for the lower and mid quality to have greater value. At the moment,
You know what? I'm going to say something right here. They got to do something, man, because mining is just not fun for me right now. Like, what's the purpose? You're going to spend 8 hours looking for high quality materials that, like, you go to scan all these fucking rocks and all you get is low quality materials after low quality materials. They got to give us something to do with these low quality materials too, right? While I'm out mining, I know, Cousin Jeebus, I've seen this. I'm going to get to it. I'm just going to say it would be nice if the high quality mats weren't quite so rare too, it's totally killed my motivation to mine, right? Because you go out, you're looking for high quality materials. There's nothing to do with the low quality materials yet. And, what's the damn point in mining when all you're going to do is spend 8 hours looking for one frickin' thing, right? Or more. Yeah, you got high risk, high danger area to find high quality materials, Gaggins, on TikTok. Yeah, that too. And I think they're going to address some of this. But I just wish that I want mining to be fun again. Right now it's just a fucking total grind, and I don't feel like crafting anymore. Like, it was fun for like the first day or two, but after spending all this time looking for the high quality mats and not finding it, it's just ridiculous.
Because it's bigger number is better. Everyone's searching for the high quality, so to resolve this, our plan is with the refining updates that you will have 2 ingredients for when you're refining. One of them will be a primary, 2 or more, it could be 2 or more to be fair, 2 or more could be secondary, and the quality of the secondary determines how much of it you need. Whereas the primary is the quality of the primary is used for the refined material. So if it's iron, we always go for the steel example. So if you're making steel, primary is iron, 750 quality
What
iron.
would you make steel
750
for?
Steel.
Maybe
Carbon,
base
the quality's
building?
not too important.
Maybe,
so you
I
can
don't
get
know.
a massive amount of carbon, however much you need of terrible quality, shove it in and get your steel.
So the value in the lower quality stuff will be in using it to get a greater quantity.
Not quantity, it's just for the secondary inputs, you need less of it if it's high quality, but you can still use any quality.
Okay.
So you can.
I mean, here's what I want to do, Cousin Jeebus. I want to go out mining, and I just want to hoover everything up. I want to find, I want to find high quality materials. I want to hoover up low quality materials, and I want there to be a reason to do that. Right now there's no point in hoovering up low quality materials.
Farm up loads and just shove it in as secondary.
So there's a purpose for the lower quality, and it's, to be very honest, it's something that we discuss a lot. Actually, discussed a lot. If we want to go down this road,
they discussed it a
as
lot.
Dick already described, one of the main reasons why we want to stick with this approach of you not being able to upgrade the materials is that we still want you to search for higher grades, that we don't want you to hoard lower grades, because at some point you will be able to upgrade. And for that reasons, we came up with some solutions of making the lower quality actually worthwhile to holding onto them, especially then once we have the refining process in.
Yeah, and we want, when you find those really high level ones, we want that to be exciting. We want that to feel like a moment. And if you could just get higher easy, you would dilute that experience.
I don't want it to be easy, but I want it to be easier than it is right now.
Here, then, we do, for the people who gather casually, there's a path, there's a useful for the stuff, for the lesser quality stuff they get. But for the people who dedicate themselves, like, I am going to be a miner, that is my job, because you're going to keep those higher resources more valuable, that effort is going to be more rewarding to those people.
The other thing is that you're getting so few. Like, when you go to hoover up the stuff, the SCUs, you're not getting near as many SCUs of material now. You've got all this space on your ship. You could spend hours trying to fill up a mole, right? And it's just like, when you've got like 96 SCUs on a mole, okay, and you're getting like 12 SCUs out of a big rock, you're going to spend, you could spend days out there trying to hoover up high quality mats. Let's make the low quality mats relevant, okay?
People, because they're going to be able to sell that stuff to.
Exactly, that is the point, because with that we open
now
up
they're
the
going to talk a
opportunities
little
for
bit
players to
about
sell it,
player
right?
trading.
If every player is able to upgrade their materials, then like we swamp the market with a high quality.
Of course, that relies on player trading, and
Yeah,
we've got to get there at some point. There's a question. We'll wait until we get to the question. I don't remember what number it was.
Yeah.
It's number 2. Player trading.
How convenient.
Yay. I like that. You like how I segued into that?
Player trading is a much needed feature now that we have crafting. Any news on that?
Yes and no. It's something that's really important to me in particular. Like, I got on stage at CitCon a couple of years ago and talked about how important I think the player-driven economy can be, especially now that we're finally getting crafting out. Like, if you can't do player trading, it's not what I want it to be. So, going to get there as fast as possible. We've got to balance it against some other things like social features and so forth. But what we want to do is give players a space in the world, taking advantage of the trade centers that we already have in locations where you can go there and you can take anything in your local inventory and put it on the local net and pick your price and sell it for what you want. Or, what anybody else there that's done the same, you can buy their stuff and get what you need. So we have those actual in-world commercial centers. And then eventually we'll have player places, base building, where you can do that locally and build your own town. So
I'm glad you mentioned social right there. That is the precursor to this. The work that Benoit and his team are doing on developing social tools, which I don't think anybody that's ever played Star Citizen for more than 5 minutes will argue is not incredibly important and incredibly needed.
Yeah, Jeebus, they're working on social tools, and it can't come fast enough. They know they need it. I think they're waiting to roll it out to when it makes sense. You know, we'll see. But I will tell you this: I'm kind of a big fan of the Banu Merchantman. I don't have one in my fleet as of yet, but I will soon. Alien Fleet Week, I'm going to trade up for the Banu Merchantman. And you know, you got ships coming like the Banu Merchantman. In order for them to be relevant, you have to implement player trading. It's an important game mechanic that has to happen. Otherwise, what's the point of having a Banu Merchantman? You go onto the mall of the Banu Merchantman, and what's going to be there? Nothing. You got to have something for players to buy when they go onto your Banu Merchantman, right? And of course, the Banu Merchant, the BMM probably won't come out until like 1.0 sometime in the next 100 years. But more on that later.
The work that they're doing on social lays the groundwork. It's a necessary foundation for then building player trading on top of that. You have to be able to effectively communicate to people.
Yep.
And before you can start player trading. So the social.
Okay. You got to be able to communicate with people. Hey, Mr. Blarg. It's been a long wait. Yep, cousin Jeeves. It has been a long wait for the Banu Merchantman. Go ahead and keep waiting. BMM on a landing pad. It will be rented out by Spirit Halloween within a day. Yeah, you're right, Kieran Dark. Probably no development on the Banu Merchantman until the last quarter of this year. I think that's what they said previously, that there were no plans to work on it until later this year. I have a question. How do they expect us to attract people to the mall on our Banu Merchantman to buy stuff, right? You got to have the social features for that, right? You got to be able to type into a chat somewhere or advertise, hey, my Banu Merchantman is here. Come get your shit, Come get your shit. I got high quality steel. I got high quality, I don't know, Karenite. I crafted these weapons that are high quality. Come get your shit. What do y'all think? Let me know in chat. They gotta have the social features in order to make this work, I think.
Social tools are what their focus on is on right now. And
yeah.
The new inventory has had a lot of the same problems that were seen with the old inventory, such as slow load times and poor quality images. Are there plans to resolve this?
Yes. So,
all right, next question.
Don't laugh. So for the images, there's a handful of initiatives underway. There's no anti-aliasing on the images, so that's one of the things we're going to look into add in. There is improvements to the framing. You'll see some things that see zoomed out, zoomed in compared to the box. There is lighting and shadows, and then for the responsiveness and the snappiness, it's work in progress. It is our desire to have it instant. So
I saw something. I'm in a number of chats where for visibility and I saw there was a big conversation. They found a big cause, not the only cause. There's never only one source for something, but they made a nice big leap in some discovery earlier this week, and I wish I could remember what the heck it was now before I opened my mouth. I just assumed I would remember by the time I got to the point, and I don't. But yeah, they are currently making progress.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going to making the inventory the best we can.
Yeah. It's hard because it's.
What do y'all think of the new inventory system? I like it. It's still, like they said, it's still got a lot of the same old problems. You click on your inventory, it takes forever for it to come up sometimes. I think like moving stuff around your backpack is easier, if you want to organize it or whatever. I like the UI for it. I like it. It was a pain in the ass to try to drag stuff to your body while your body's moving around and doing up shit. Couldn't you just load up your player base vendor and not have to commit a ship to selling? Yeah,
you'd be able to do that too.
What did you say, Twidget?
I was just saying you'd be able to do that too. I mean, that's part of the base building experiences. We're going to be able to build our own shops. The problem is how do you get the information out there that your shop is at X place and you're selling X stuff?
Right. We're talking about the Banu Merchantman again, briefly.
Yeah. Yep. But we need those channels. We need org support in a really big way within the game, right? You know, there's all this stuff that we still need as far as, you know, quote, social features go. A quick shout out to Jeebus, Kickstarter baby like myself.
Right.
We've been around this thing for a long time.
Been a long wait. It's been a long wait. Like I said at the beginning of the React, I haven't become quite as jaded as you folks yet, because y'all have been waiting a lot longer than I have. Like when I came to the game, it was already pretty playable, you know. A-Name, we are doing a react to the Star Citizen Live that occurred today here on my channel. A-Name is my daughter. Welcome in. I love you. I do love you. So Cornelius says the inventory is better than the old, but still needs some improvement. It does need improvement. You know, it does. I think it was a step in the right direction, but they ain't done yet. Like, let's continue.
I think Pete just saw me put my hand on my mouth. He's like, I got it before you put your light on. It's hard. It never quite seemed like it goes fast enough. Nothing ever goes as fast as we want it to. But mining is currently quite tedious.
Absolutely.
Due to only wanting to search for high quality materials.
This is what I've been saying.
We ended up going into this answer.
Yeah, we did.
And the thing,
y'all need to fix
the other part of the answer to that is like, the question is like, all I'm finding is boring stuff. Where's the excitement? It's like, we will balance that over time. If we're not, you know, supplying enough for the players to like feel satisfaction in that process, if we're not supplying enough for you know, to have a good crafting environment, we will adjust the balance of what we think, you know, gets to a good place for both the economy and to make sure that all the other game systems
balance it out,
for,
guys.
You know, a fun environment.
I want mining to be fun.
Yeah, even like monitoring.
It's not fun right now. It's just not.
Dropped, so we are adjusting. So for every patch cycle, the numbers might change a bit, so that we're getting to a range where the material that the players will find is actually like meaningful and has a purpose for them. Yep. But yeah, I wouldn't call mining tedious.
It is right now.
It depends. You know, not
it
every
is
game
right
is
now
for every person. And we don't know the person who said this. For some people, it will be tedious.
Yeah.
But
it should also be exciting for the people that enjoy it.
Yeah. No, if you don't want to make something that if you make something that's for everybody, it's a little too broad. It's too broad. It's a little too uninteresting and whatnot. You want to make something that's engaging, and some people are going to take to it, and some people are not. One of the things you said about we were going to continue.
Look, I am one of the people who take to mining, right? I am. I love it's one of my favorite things to do in the game. But right now, what the fuck is the point? You can't make any money doing it. You can't get any high quality materials doing it. You know, you get the low quality materials, you're just as well off selling that shit as raw ore than refining it, right? For gas money. So
need a balance is, I think anybody that's followed the project long enough can attest that we continuously evolve. We put a thing out, and then we change it, and then we change it, and we get feedback, and we change it again.
How do y'all feel about that?
That's part of developing
all the changes.
With an
Some
open
of y'all
environment
who've been around for a while.
Mining alone, since we're talking about mining, let's just use that, has evolved so much from that initial release. So crafting will do the same. Crafting will do the same, and mining will continue to do the same. And so like this, I think that's been borne out over
some of the older folks that have been around a long time don't really like them because
is the purchase of materials
we're not seeing the simulation that we thought we were going to be getting. And a lot of people are upset about that, but it's you know, like we're getting MMO'd is what people are saying. You know, it's getting to be a little bit too easy. I mean, I personally don't have any problem with the idea of going out and spending a day looking and searching for, you know, ore, because it's realistic. I mean, you wouldn't just fly out into the stars and come back with a bunch of rare crap.
Right.
You have to go and work at it.
Right.
And that was sort of what a lot of us were pledging for back then, was a game that was harder like that. And it's I think a lot of people see it as being kind of watered down. We're now headed towards more of a theme park MMO experience.
I mean, I don't know. Like I've been saying, I think that the fucking rare material grind ought to be there, but I just wish it wasn't quite so rare, because when I'm trying to craft something that's good, I don't want to spend 10 hours out mining for it, you know? Or if I do, if I do have to spend that amount of time, I want there to be a reason to mine the lower quality stuff too, right? And then when I find the high quality stuff, it's like, oh, now I can finally craft this thing I've wanted to craft, right? Does that make sense?
Well, there is that. Yeah, it does make sense. But I mean, like we were talking here earlier about the secondary stuff for crafting. You'd use your iron, and then of course you got your secondary stuff. And if you have higher quality secondary stuff, you need less of it to complete your crafting on a particular item. So instead of 100 mats, you would need 50 mats in that secondary roll. So whatever that might be. Right. So there's a usefulness for all of this stuff. But again, this is one of those things that the community is kind of facing as a whole. We're kind of struggling with it, because it's not an easy one answer fits everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Cousin Jeebus brought up an interesting comment. Twitch, did you want to interject on that?
well, Jeebus said it's funny they bitch about the comment, just make Star Wars Galaxies crafting, because that's what people want. And a lot of the miners and crafters and industrial folks have that mindset. That's what we've been looking for in Star Citizen, is that complexity. And at the same time, CIG is trying to say, oh, well, we're not going to make it too hard and we're not going to make it too easy. It's going to be a really tough balancing act for them to pull off, because there are a lot of people who are really dedicated to a more complex, more feature filled, if you want to call it that, crafting system.
I know one thing they did say, they're going to say this later, but really it comes down to, is it fun? You know, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, people aren't going to want to play it, you know? So it's a balancing act. It's a tightrope they're walking, trying to balance this to where it's like fun for everybody. Like, you know, like they said, not everyone's going to want to mine. Not everyone's going to want to mine, but, you know, the people that do want to mine, it's got to be fun for them. No, that's my pause screen, Cousin Jeebus. That was my
the actual mining mechanics should be fun, and people should enjoy their time out doing it. But above and beyond that, there should be reasons for them to do it. But at the same time, currently with all of that, we have to learn new ways of storing some of this stuff. So if you get 1,000 billion of this thing, you can't use it right now, but what do you do with it? Are you going to go store it? Are you going to go sell it? And so we all have to learn sort of a crafting inventory, as it were.
Yeah.
I think that's going to become a very important part of all of this.
Let's talk about inventory real quick. You know, all this stuff's going to be wiped when the new patch comes out. So what's the point in storing it up? You know, let's save this for later. Oh, no, wait, the patch is coming out. Hurry up and sell all your shit off, you know?
Well, the thing with that, though, is that that's going to change, right? As we
right.
get closer
When
to
1.0 comes out, there won't be any more wipes of that shit, I don't think, right? And then it'll make sense. Then it will make sense to store stuff over long periods of time.
Right. Yeah. And
all right.
And I think we're going to find a lot more of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's move right along to the next question. Jared's over here just chomping at the bit to get to this.
Is the purchase of materials of various qualities other than 0 from in-game locations like mining outposts being considered?
Yes. So
I did not
I love this guy. I love Delvin.
So at the moment when a shop
He's
sells
like, yes. The answer is yes.
I prefer the answer and just put people's names on it. So that's the secret. At the moment, shops sell resources at 0 just because that's default. Right. It's just a tech limitation.
That was never intended. It was,
exactly.
It's just where we landed for the release.
They'll end up selling materials of quality. They won't sell the super high quality stuff. And equally, if you sell good quality to a shop, it'll pay more. But the best deal is probably going to be on the player trade market because that's where people have the most money.
Yeah. We need player trade, guys. We need player trade and social tools. Come on.
Pay more for higher quality and less for lower quality.
Get her done.
Same vice versa. If you want to sell your own stuff, you'll get more for higher quality and less for lower quality. That's absolutely the design, and we'll get there. We just couldn't get there last release.
But what Dex said is that, and I want to highlight that, is that we really want to have player trading standing out in comparison to trading with NPCs. So we want to make sure that, sure, you will be finding like different qualities from NPC traders, but your source should be, or we want to encourage you to actually trade with players there.
And eventually it'll all be tied together. Like
thanks for your comment, Jeebus. I agree.
Player will be tracking that and adding it to the overall simulation. We've talked about having StarSim, the simulation that knows everything that the players are doing, plus all the things that we're expecting the NPCs to doing, so that when players buying stuff for one price, that is reflected in the NPC prices as well.
Yeah. So I lost it. I lost it from the chat. There was a question from the chat. We just put out crafting. We just put out the first version of crafting. How are you guys feeling about it right now?
Deck did a really good job there. he pulled all the things together and motivated the teams working on it. So definitely kudos to Deck.
Yeah, we asked Deck to do a lot at the last minute, but like the whole team came together. Like
for sure.
Yeah, like. It's the first step. Like there's a lot more that we want to do with crafting, but just getting that first tier of crafting out felt really good. It's that first step, that we needed to take to get it into players' hands to start iterating on it, and we've got a long ways to go. But there's a lot of cool features coming, and
it was nice seeing like the avalanche of feedback. You saw some people, they wanted X, Y, Z to be improved. You saw people crafting guns that were 900 quality, and then there was a helmet that was bugged that I had.
You know what? I had a 900 plus quality freaking gun, and you know what happened to it? The fucking game ate it. It ate it. I was pulling my gear off, and my fucking awesome parallax rifle with 19% plus damage output just vanished. Right? All that time I spent crafting, and it's gone. So hopefully they'll fix that too. I know that's one of my things on this channel. Don't be a bitch. I'm not trying to be a bitch about it. I'm just saying, your game's broken, CIG. Come on, fix it a little bit, please.
To fix, which I was a bit annoyed when out.
I think that
it was very nice to see go out.
It even helped internally because the people working on it were all motivated to get this feature in a really good quality, because they themselves are either a fan of crafting or are really like fan of tying things together in our game. So that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah. Now, of course, there are people who are going to have dissenting opinions. They're obviously always going to be someone who doesn't like how mining works or how crafting works or how whatever. What would you say to people who just wash their hands of the entire system right now? Just, I don't like any of this. I wish you'd made Star Wars Galaxies. Just make Star Wars Galaxies, please.
Yeah. I think it's
Ahazi. Ahazi. Shout out to Ahazi.
I think it's pretty early to wipe your hands of it. Like we've got a long ways to go, both in crafting itself and the other features that are going to support crafting. Yeah, it's too early to tell.
Once they get the in-game economy going, hopefully, right, and the player economy being able to do player trading. Those people that hate crafting, they won't have to. Just save some money up and buy someone else's crafted materials, right?
Well, I would say this is absolutely just our first step out the door. And while it's really cool to see what players can already do with it, we're far from done.
We did release a crafting guide alongside, and the crafting guide had a wonderful section at the bottom, not just dedicated to everything that was in this one, but a look to a whole lot of things that are already in development for the future. I mean, it's not even everything. There were a couple of things. Anything that was like, well, we might whatever. We struck them out. We stuck.
Hey,
with, we stuck
07
with a
TGIF Texas Horny Toad.
the things that we
Welcome
were
to
pretty
the
confident
stream.
on, and it's an impressive list of stuff coming. If you haven't seen the crafting guide and checked out the section at the bottom of where crafting is going, I would suggest you check it out. There's some good stuff in there.
Good job writing that deck. At the 11th hour, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No, we
used
worked
that
on it.
review.
So
Doing
there's
pretty
crafting,
good.
Then there's inventory.
Doing a react on Star
One
Citizen
of
Live
the-
right now, buddy.
One of the obviously we put this new inventory front end on, but one of the big issues that the crafting update made was all the material updates made the and all the qualities of all the materials of different quality have basically put a whole lot of stuff in players' inventories now. How are we addressing this?
You know what? Before he answers this question, here's how I would like to see it addressed, okay? And I've seen this comment, like, okay, we have a quality of 0 to 1,000 now. You can have so many different types of qualities of stuff, right? It's gotten ridiculous. Makes my fucking head explode, right? All the different levels of quality we can have. Instead of 0 to 1,000, I've seen these comments, right, on wherever I saw them. How about an A to E? Like you got A quality, B quality, C quality, right? Just make it simpler so we don't have all these different levels of quality in our frickin' inventory clogging everything up, right? And it just seems like that might be easier on the servers too, Just saying, maybe it'd be too hard for them to change that at this point, but I don't know, makes sense to me.
There's a couple of things in the work for the quality itself, which will help with the bloats. And then, as you mentioned, the crafting guide, there's some inventory adjustments and management tools. The first one is kind of like a folder structure. So if you have 20 variants of copper,
yeah, 1 to
they'll be inside a
20,
folder.
Cornelius,
You click the
that
folder
would be
and then you see
good.
your 20. So as you're scrolling through the freight elevator, your inventory, it'll look much cleaner until you want to dive in and see all the details.
So they're talking about putting the
second
shit
one
in folders.
is merging and splitting. So merging, people have like half-empty boxes they're hauling all over the place. They would, if they're low quality or you're not too bothered to keeping them separate, you could just stick them all together. The quality would average out based on the SU weights.
I like that.
And then splitting
Averaging out
is
the
kind of the obvious opposite, where you take part of a box and turn it into 2 boxes, and that's crucial for player trading, right? You don't want to put all your high quality up for sale. You want to take half of it and put it up for sale, or maybe you want to share it but sell it.
So this is more about, like, if you have a 60 SCU crate, you convert it into 2 8 SCU crates, or like into several 1 SCU crates. So you basically split.
Be nice
up the
when we can do
volume
player
into
trading
smaller
without
chunks.
third-party websites, right?
So the in comparison to the merging, this will leave the quality unaffected, right? So just create new containers holding the same material.
And I'm going to ask the question that Chad is going to be asking right now. Now you have to look at it. Why wasn't something like that in the first release then? If you know you're going to flood the inventory system with all these new materials, with all these varying qualities, why wasn't merge and split and stuff like that in the first release?
But we have to release at some point, no? Don't we?
Yeah. How long do we want to release on
Yeah,
release
if they'd
for
have
all
done
the features
that,
we
we'd
have planned?
never
If
have-
we waited on every little feature that we
never
want to
have
have be part of the
crafting.
system. Like, it would take us so much longer to get anything out into players' hands, and it would just slow down the iteration overall.
Yeah, back to 6 months waiting for the next patch.
Yep. It's hard. It's hard because if we waited for everything, we'd never release anything. That's just, there's a reason why some games go 6 months between major releases or even longer and stuff. They go completely quiet. We are putting new stuff out almost every 2 weeks at this point. Now, it's like this. It's because we get feedback on the stuff we have. It's like we need that feedback on the stuff we have. We need that testing on the stuff that we have, because we might learn something about the stuff we have that directly affects the stuff that we're waiting for. And better to know that while we're still working
Warlord,
on this
welcome
than
in.
finish this and go, oh, I wish I'd known this earlier.
10 stream streak. Thank
if only
you,
I'd put what
Warlord.
we had out earlier. That information could have informed this. There's a whole lot of reasons why we operate a live environment in the middle of our game development. It's beneficial in a lot of ways, and it's annoying. and you look at me like it is. It is annoying to have to put out a feature and it needs merging and splitting. It's just not ready.
I'll never be happy with any feature we put out. It'll never be complete. But it'll be as good as I can get in the time and resources that I have. That's me being a perfectionist. That's nothing against the game.
Yeah.
Well, now it's going to be a meme on Reddit.
Yeah, well.
It'll be a nice square picture of Rick Porter that says, "I'll never be happy with anything I release."
That's sure. It's truth. I'll take it. That's me being a perfectionist. That's not an indictment of anything else.
So what's the plan? I skipped way ahead. So what's the plan for crafting large items that obviously won't fit in the current fabricator?
Here we go. This is a question everybody has.
So with the current fabricator, we had a specific format that we were going for.
Are we going to have bigger fabricators at some
our first
point?
version. In the future, we're going to have the ability to craft directly into local storage with that initial fabricator.
Same fabricator,
so that
crafting into
you'll have
local
options
storage.
To craft
I thought you
larger
could
items
craft
in the
into
near
local
future.
storage now.
And then longer term with base building, we'll have hangar crafting, and we'll have intermediate steps in ship crafting as well as locations. So there's lots planned to expand your options of size in crafting.
Okay, so hangar crafting, interesting. I like this. So if I'm crafting a ship, let's say I want to craft a whole ship, is it just gonna materialize in the hangar? Or will I craft it and it shows up in my ASOP terminal and then I can call the ship up? Or if I'm maybe if I have a base with a ship manufacturer, maybe I can actually watch the ship being built outside the base in the ship manufacturer little fucking component thing. What do you think, Twidget? You've been around for a little while. You saw IAE back in 2024 when they were talking about base building, right? And they showed a little oh, Twitch's deafened and mutant right now. Okay. So anyway, yeah, they showed a picture of a little fucking module on the base on the space station where you could manufacture ships, right? Well, they show the one where it once was made, the door opens, but you don't see it. Yeah. I think probably you'll craft it and it'll just be in your ASOP terminal, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. This is going to be interesting.
Into the local inventory is one of those things that we're listed on that.
Yeah, and crafting
Well, I think
local
we're going to find
inventory is
that,
more of a
as you
stopgap.
said, a lot of this is going to be straight to inventory.
Yeah. I think they would need to make a shipbuilder yard of some sort. You build based on the size of ship you crafted. Yeah. Yep.
Until we can bring those other features.
Well, when
into
they
the
get
game.
into shipbuilding and stuff, you got to remember that we're going to have ships like the Galaxy that was meant to come along and never did show up.
Right.
That's the kind of thing we're going to be using to do that kind of building.
Interesting.
Along with the Pioneer.
The Pioneer, Cousin Jeebus, right on point with that. Yeah, we're going to be able to do this shit with the Pioneer too, right? And then maybe, how is it, you're crafting with your Pioneer, how does the shit show up? Does it show up in a local inventory somewhere, or do you just access it from a screen on the Pioneer? Time will tell. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see.
So I don't think that'll be a permanent solution, but it'll be a way for us to start iterating on our larger crafting before we have those other features available.
Hey, Torsten, will mining modules and gadgets ever be craftable?
Yes, like most of or a lot of items that we will have, or we already have in our game, all of them will be craftable at some point, and we will make sure that most of the items, or actually every item that is craftable, actually is affected by the quality of the materials that you use for it, so that there is a meaningful reason for you actually to craft those items. And for 4.8, we are already like expanding our catalog of craftable items. So we are expanding it to ship components, and those will also be affected by the stat improvements that you get from the quality. So you will be able to craft, correct me if I'm wrong, Dick, but power plants, coolers, life support generator.
I think that stuff's coming in 4.8.
Yeah. So what did
Ship
we
components, isn't it?
Weapons we did agree on. Shield generators.
Shield generators are there.
Yeah. What am I missing? Am I missing something?
There's tractor beam.
The modules, the subcomponents for the salvage heads, mining heads, refueling.
The refueling one's an interesting one. We probably won't get stats for that, but we will have them because there are some refueling changes. There will be some craftable refueling elements.
Yeah. Okay. So we are actively working on expanding our catalog.
I am going to roll you back about the statement, all of the items will be craftable. I want to say most of the items.
Yeah, most of the. Did I say all?
Cousin Jeebus wants to know, do you think they'll still do hacking and overclocking of components? Man, I don't fucking know. I don't even know what that means. Do you know what that means, Twidget? Hacking and overclocking of components. Are you talking about like hacking into components you've stole off of other people's ships or something? I don't know.
Hacking is going to be a big thing. It's going to be a gameplay loop, like a medical or whatever. They have devices coming down the pipe where you'll be able to hack into an engineering terminal. You'll be able to hack doors. You'll be able to hack all kinds of different things in the game.
Right.
So that's going to be a very interesting switch up as well.
Right. Okay. Moving along.
You said all. You said all. But I know it's somewhere there's going to be some limited edition Vandal Cupid doll or something that we give out as a Alien Week thing or whatever, and somebody's like, no, that was the only time you get that or whatever.
No, so it'll be very, very clear. So it's most of the items, not all of the items. That was
things that affect gameplay. I think we can. I think we can probably.
Things that affect gameplay will be craftable. Everything that affects gameplay.
Affects gameplay that you would want to progress through the game. We want that to be craftable.
If you let me convert a Pico doll into a melee weapon, I can bludgeon people with, then now you got to make.
Oh shit!
I'm sure you could convince somebody.
I would love to bludgeon someone with a Cupid doll. Maybe one of those penguins from Microtech.
Is there going to be a way to track what blueprints we have other than looking at the fabricator screen?
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to be adding an app to the MobiGlass so that you'll be able to see and manage all of your blueprints that you've collected, not only ones you've collected, but the ones that you could collect and the ones you could upgrade. And like, it'll be a full featured app that'll probably come out after we get the upgrading in place.
I hope the app in the MobiGlass works better than the fucking assets tab, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's again one of those things called out in the crafting guide that went live with a whole host of things that we're working towards. So I want to point that out because there are a number of the questions that we received in the thread were all questions. A number of the questions that we had were questions that had answers already published on the day that the crafting went live. So I want to encourage people to check out that crafting guide available on robertspacindustries.com. You click a thing at the top and then you click another thing and then it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, just like everything else on your freaking website. Good luck finding it, everybody. You click a thing, and then you click another
weapons.
thing.
A lot of the stuff that we're crafting this first thing is FPS related. Will we be able to craft weapon attachments that have different stats from their lootable counterparts?
Yes. So exactly like the like picking up on the answer from the mining gadgets, it's like most of the items or a lot of the items that we have will be craftable. That includes also the attachments for weapons. So that means though that the attachments that we find right now in the dungeons, they were already a good test bed for us because we used them back in the day to test. Actually, that was the first predecessor of our crafting efforts there, where we could try out, okay, what happens when we improve the stats on certain components and how does that affect the gameplay. And now that we have proven that, we can actually dial back a bit there. So it's still debatable of how much we want to dial back, if we even want to dial back, but crafting will definitely then also be a meaningful way of having components for your weapons there.
Hey, I see a lot of stuff going on in chat. Just remember too that probably the stuff that you can craft, you can sell to other people. So if someone wants to cry about not being able to craft something, they can always buy it from somebody. Maybe if it's available, right?
But then affect the functionality of those.
All of crafting starts with a blueprint. You know, these are the things that determine what you can craft and whatnot. How many blueprints? Not exact number. How many blueprints would you say that we added in 4.7?
There's probably websites that have data mined it, so I'm going to get this wrong. But I think there was...
Promised me at least 300, but I know you exceeded that by a lot.
There was about 300 and something in missions, and then there was roughly about 1,000 that didn't manage to make it into missions, which were like tint variants.
Yeah. And I know there are some still coming online. Next week we release 4.7.2 with a bunch of new missions for next and some of those missions reward new unique blueprints that aren't in the system right now. So some of those blueprints that are in the 4.7 branch don't even come online until next week when 4.7.2 comes online.
Yeah, we'll be adding blueprints pretty much constantly.
Well, it's a neat reward because now you can conceivably add. Let's talk about how people get blueprints. How do you get blueprints right now?
At the moment, it's just missions. The plan is reputation. So when you reach a reputation milestone, you can get a blueprint. Data pads is a big one, so it will be a data pad that has a blueprint on it, and then you can download it, and that's a one-time download. Or you could sell it to someone else, gift it if you want to.
So just to add on that, it's a physical database that you can find. Yeah. So it's something that we can place in inventories, that we can place in in armor pieces from NPCs. Yep. So something that you can physically pick up.
Treasure hunters, a whole new treasure hunter profession of people who go out there and do contested treasure hunting and collect blueprints to sell to other people.
Yeah. But as Dick,
maybe this could even tie into exploration a little bit. Like, you know, you go exploring, like, you know, they want to have exploration game loops, right? So maybe you could go out exploring for blueprint data pads or something. Find new areas in the game that no one's seen before and go find data pads, right? Well, isn't that something they could tie into the game? What do y'all think? Tell me in chat. Maybe I'm way off about that. I don't know.
Already stated, important note there is they are one-time use. So once they are consumed, the blueprint is then imprinted to whoever used the data pad. So it's, yeah, if you already got the blueprint on the data pad, make sure that you make some money out of it, I would say.
There's also NPC shops, so more common stuff that we're not too bothered about there being an adventure to go and find, like a decoration. You could buy that blueprint in an NPC shop.
Would you ever consider a method of learning how to reverse engineer a blueprint from dismantling? I mean, if you dismantled 500 of the exact same gun, you probably figured out how to make it at this point.
There's no plan for that, but part of the upgrading, like learning the next tier of a blueprint, could include missions where you needed to do something like that. We definitely have been talking about that kind of process. It's one of the 2 or 3 main ways of like learning how to upgrade your blueprints that we've talked about.
Yeah, we called it research in the CitizenCon presentation, where we also had like other steps that you need to take to be able to figure out how to reach the next tier of the item that you own.
Let's talk about research a little bit, because that we touched on it during the crafting guide. I've mentioned now more times than I intended, but Give me a little primer. Give me a short, this nickel version of what research is.
So items have different tiers. Default blueprint you get is tier 1, and then you could research it to tier 2. And tier 2 will require different materials. It'll have access to a different banding of stats, which are higher than tier 1.
They're going to make my
And
fucking
in order
head
to get to that
explode
tier
with
2,
this
you have to
shit.
complete the research task, which we kind of just alluded to would be do X, Y, Z, initiate your research. Once it's done, you've got access to tier 2, and then you can go to tier 3 for most items. And then
It's
ships go to
overwhelming,
tier
isn't
5.
it? The amount of stuff they're planning to put in this
virtue of
game.
The different tiers is.
It's a little
probably depending on the
overwhelming to
item.
me.
I'm trying to remember what the virtue. We had a long conversation about the virtue of the tiers.
Yeah.
What's the virtue of it having a tier 3 version of a rifle versus a tier 1?
Well, the main benefit.
There's another
Yeah.
question on the list that alludes to this, but
Let's do it now.
yeah. Well, one of the things is that not only can you get more stats, but you can get more options. So there'll be a material that you can have either different types of or different qualities of that will provide a trade-off between a buff and a debuff. So you can really lean into one stat that you really like if you want to. That's
So not only the stats will get generally better if you increase the tiers, but in the highest tier and in the highest tiers, you will even be able to affect or focus on a certain stat with the downside of affecting another stat in a negative way.
Okay. But more like, you've done your GED and now you're focusing on a specific area, and you focus on your English degree and you forget how to do long form division, which is what happened to me.
well, Chris is really interested in that kind of trade-off between a buff and a plus and a minus when you're crafting, having that choice. So even though we're planning to do that definitely for the higher tiers, since we want to start iterating on that earlier, we're going to try and come up with some examples of that before we get to the actual upgrading.
I'm volunteering you for work.
I've already been told. Yeah.
Why are armor and weapon skins separate blueprints? Wouldn't it be better to have them work like ship paints?
It would. It really would. Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
So it's a tech limitation at the moment where if we want a red version of a blue helmet, we've got to make a new entity, and the red is like bound to that entity, and so in order to craft that red
Cousin
helmet, you need
Jeebus,
a
it's
blueprint
gotta
for
be
that red
fun.
one specifically. That's not the long-term goal. The long-term goal
If it's not
is
fun,
a
people
paint-like
won't want to
system,
play.
but just the paints aren't physical. So it's like in a very British way, it's a digital license to apply the paint.
It's a nice way to work into that. They tax you if you want to watch TV here.
I do.
You don't just get to watch TV. Just buying a TV doesn't mean you get to watch TV here.
Do you get
You own a
taxed
TV,
for
but you don't
watching
get to watch
TV,
it unless you
Twidget,
pay the
up in
government
Canada?
tax.
That
And they send you
sucks.
nasty letters if you don't.
I know they do in England.
They don't even know your
that
name.
sucks.
Like, resident, we will come for you. I'm like, you don't even know my name.
I've got a stack of those letters.
But yeah,
I don't even know.
a proper tint system for characters and armors has been on the
That's
wish
crazy,
list for
Twitch.
so long. It's one of those things where you can't work on everything all at once. And every time you do the priority call, there's something that just affects a few more people or affects an actual gameplay element getting better. That's just a little more important every time. But
Right, Cousin
hopefully
Jeebus. But like they
this
said,
time on
if
the wheel will
you
come.
try to put all the
Because
features in at once,
I'm
it
a big fan
never
of Barbie dress up.
you never get your
That might be a
hands
more
on it as a
appropriate term for it, but I've always
as a
called it.
tester.
I
You
spend
know?
so much time in every MMO I ever play just focused on far more than I do in real life. Making sure that my character looks exactly how I want them to look, and stuff like that. So that has to extend from the armor to the weapons to the items, because it drives me crazy when I got a cool black and red thing. And I got a gun that's black and red. And I got the helmet black and red, and then I pull out a bright yellow tool. And I'm like, no. You tell me, chat. Am I in the minority?
No,
Or am I the only one?
no.
Drip
I'm
or
with you.
drown. There you go.
I want my shit to match.
Drip or drown. are you planning to let players implement custom tags on cargo boxes for the inventory and tractor beam AR?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
You'll be
this
able to
guy. His
rename,
answer to everything is
boxes,
yes.
Inventory boxes, cargo boxes, and so when you zap them with your tractor beam, it'll say the name of the box.
When's that coming tomorrow?
Yeah, when is that coming?
I don't think it does, you know. No, I don't think
Right,
tomorrow's the
cousin
release date
Jeebus.
for
I
that.
want different colored med guns and shit. There is different colored
Hey,
med
the
guns.
crafting guide. This is a question. I didn't bring it up. The crafting guide has a short blurb on salvage updates for crafting. Can you give us more details?
So salvage consists of two different methods of how you get or you convert the ship debris that you found into material. So one side is RMC, and right now I don't think we have any recipes making use of RMC.
I want more colors for the,
in the future
max
patches, we will have blueprints that actually will make use of RMC. So RMC will be already used as a craftable material there. On the other side, with the disintegration of all the construction material, I forgot the name because this name is killing me.
Construction material is so confusing for me right now.
They're your name.
Yeah, they are my
Rubble.
name.
There's so many, like rubble.
No,
and
it's so the construction materials that you get from the disintegration process. Right now, you get the construction material. That was never the intent. We always wanted to make.
like, do I have to have different ships to make different types of
materials
construction
that you get from
material? What's up
disintegrating
with
the
that?
ship being based off what the ship is actually made of. So an example is if you find a Vendel ship, you get a Vendel material out of it. If you find the Gladios, you will get some GT alumnite, which is like the Aegis material from it. So you get like these processed materials in a certain quality, which the ships were made of, and then you can process them and reutilize them for the crafting process.
Oh my God.
So
It's
like
getting even
everything
more
that we
confusing
dismantle,
for me.
The goal is that this also applies in the larger scale, which
You're
is
gonna make
the
my head explode.
disintegration of ships. So that means that the material that you basically recycle from them have the quality that they were made with. You lose the amount or some amount of the material, but at least the materials that it was made of, you can repurpose them with the quality that you found them in.
Yeah, and just a note on those, the Vandal materials, those will be exclusive to this collection method, so to speak. So there'll be like a high value in
The other way you
salvage
can get them.
gameplay. Yep.
Yeah, cannot invade Vandal space just out of them. Yeah.
Well, not yet.
Spoilers.
Nice Millyway shirt. Thank you. Old heads might recognize this design. This design might look real familiar if you were in the project for years since 2014.
No, does this? I watched
And the
this
very first
already.
work I
This
did
has
for the
to do with freaking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right, Twidget?
And if you don't know what Milliways is,
Where was Milliways in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I don't. It's been so long since I've read that
but read a
book.
book. It's a really good book. Will blueprints drop at boss fights? Will blueprints drop from boss fights at some point?
Yes.
We touched on that briefly.
The pads would be
Data
great.
pads, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for 4.7 we did introduce, I might be throwing Elliot under the bus here. I think we introduced a couple missions for the Ormondi and the Apex Valakar. So there's boss fight-ish associated blueprints at the moment. But yeah, the blueprints will be the data pads on the blueprints will be the good use case there.
Yeah.
Associated with the missions that you can complete for boss fights, as well as the loot that you can collect around a boss fight. Yeah, we definitely plan on that.
Yeah.
The Apex Valakar is not in the game yet.
What's it called then? The
Right,
Stormworm.
Twidget.
I forget
That's
its,
gonna
like,
be a
official lore
blast.
name.
It's gonna be a blast.
That's the
Finally have a
what is the
reason to go down and kill the
irradiating
Ormondi,
Valakar? The
and not
Apex
just for
irradiating,
the sake
yeah.
of killing
the,
it, right?
the Apex Sand Valakar. Still waiting.
That is a very good thing.
I was just
clarify.
talking to Brian Canary about it.
Yeah?
Yesterday though, he's still so excited about it. It's coming along.
Oh, okay,
Like,
Cornelius,
we changed
thank
up
you.
the fight.
Milliways,
I know
right?
this whole Citizen Gun
Isn't
thing
that what
about
it was?
It's evolved so much since then. It's like,
Well,
Oh, okay.
we got something together that was playable. We tested it, and it wasn't good enough, so we made some changes. So that's how you make a better game.
heaven forbid.
Do try.
Will we be able to dismantle high-quality NPC gear for the high-quality materials?
I briefly touched on it with the dismantling of ships. It also applies to armor pieces that you find on NPCs. So the goal is that if you find, like the average NPC will just run around with standard gear, right? But you will find like our so-called boss enemies or elites or however you want to call them, and they might be carrying like better armor or better weapons. And if you then change ownership of them towards you and you decide to dismantle them, we have them crafted in the background, so what you get from dismantling them is actually the higher quality material that they were supposed to be crafted with.
Everyone got that?
Yes, of course the radio show is better than the book. I mean, obviously. Except the book does get to fix a lot of things that were kind of problematic about the radio show. Like Trillian disappears for the entire second fit of the
That's what
show.
gave it away for me
I've
when he
actually
mentioned Trillian.
It's apropos of nothing.
I was like, oh, he's talking about Hitchhiker's Guide.
Recording my own version of the radio show for like the last 3 months where I play all the characters for my daughter.
Hitchhikers?
Yeah. So basically, when it comes time to introduce her to Hitchhikers, it's actually me doing every voice.
Nice.
And whatnot. So she doesn't watch the show, so nobody tell her. Are blueprints for non-combat stuff planned?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We've got
When
those.
are they going to be done, Dak?
To be
Already
fair,
talked about that,
most
guys.
of them are done.
Moving right along. Most of them.
Every
Yeah.
time we
Not
speak to
all
Jack,
of them.
it is like, yeah, most of them are done.
Hey, most of them are done, and then we go into a review, and then
Yes.
they're not done.
And
so
then they are not done anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's to be fair
This
to you,
is the way of the world.
there's also quite a few non-combat ones that we don't have planned yet because like it's a different process, especially when it comes to food and drink.
Correct. Yeah. There's some non-combat stuff coming in, like the quantum drives, but like Rick says, there's a bunch more that we'll still add in.
I've been doing this show for better part of a decade, a little more than a decade. And there has never been a piece of truth uttered more succinctly than, well, all of it's done, and then it goes to review, and then it's not done. Like,
Hey, it was the
that's
same in the
game
military.
development.
When
That's
I
game
was in the
development. I thought it
fucking
was done.
operation
No,
shop, the
nobody else in that room
S3,
did. Or
I'd
those
get
two
something
people did, and you
done,
have to,
and I
you
thought it was
synthesize your
done,
opinions,
but it
and
wasn't
you go
done.
back and you try it. It's just
Because
this
someone else
constant-
looked at it and be like,
constant
"Dude,
iteration before
you're not
you
done."
release, then
Ah,
after you release.
fuck.
You keep going with a live service game. It's just, no, lots of things are done
It's
until
worth
they
it,
get
though.
to review.
You do see the progress as you develop it. It's definitely worth it. So.
With the plan of gear degrading over time and only having a limited amount of repairs until it is no longer usable, how do you ensure this game does not become a maintenance simulator? And I'm gonna go get a drink.
Yeah.
Take your time.
So it's something that I think we brought up in different conversations several times at this point. So we talked about that when we talked about engineering. I think we talked about that even last time when I think Elliot and I were sitting here. Mm-hmm. So degradation is, or every system that we do is never meant to like annoy people. We want players to enjoy playing our game. And that also means that we have to be very conscious about some decisions that we take. Degradation is one of those decisions where we are very conscious about that. If we do it wrong, we can be very impactful in your everyday gaming life. So what we do here is that we still want degradation to play a big part in our game because it's a way of us having you exchange components, taking care of components, taking care of your equipment so that they degrade slower and the functionality is reduced in a slower rate than normally they would be. But we also want to make sure that there is a floating economy. And like in real life, at some point, the laptop that you own will not be as performant anymore as
makes sense
it
to
is
me.
right now. So
Too late.
Again, they're making my head explode with all this
capitalism,
shit.
you want to buy a new one because
like, I'm going to spend all my time
you need a faster PC.
crafting something,
we need a
and
similar
now it's
system in our
broken.
game because we need a thriving economy, and a thriving economy you get by people buying things. And in our case, one of the levers that we have there is actually the degradation, because it is like the degradation impacts the functionality. So the older your item gets, the less functionality it will have. We will give you opportunity to, as stated, to, like if you treat it well, the functionality ratio will, or the degradation process is slower, so the functionality will remain longer. We will also give you ways to sometimes, in rare occasions, be able to restore some of the functionality of the item. We will make use, for example, of the crafters that you have, where you basically can repair that, which might be more sustainable for the component than putting your multi-tool onto it and repairing it. So it might be a good choice to use the crafting repair functionality over the hand tool repair functionality. But overall, at some point, everything has to go.
You know what? I have a note about this. I wanted to talk about this. Degradation. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, but the complexity of this is just blowing my mind, what they want to do. Right, it's if your car doesn't look, if you don't look after your fucking car, if you don't change the oil, right, it ain't gonna last nearly as long, right? You got to do your regular service intervals on your shit, right? But here's what I wrote down. I said, find a way that makes sense to repair an item until it becomes obsolete, and then it makes sense to replace it, right? Like your fucking television, right? You know, you're using your television, you're using it, it's working pretty fucking good. I like my television. Oh, it's a 4K television, it's glorious. And then they come out with an 8K television, right? Now it makes sense to upgrade at some point and maybe craft one that's really good. Same thing with, like what Warlord said, your car. You know, maybe you have a 2015 that doesn't have fucking Apple CarPlay or something, and they come out with the latest model that's like self-driving. It has Apple CarPlay. It has all these fucking fancy features. Now it makes sense to upgrade it. Any comments on that? I think that's a valid point, right? What do you think, Twidget?
I like the idea of things deteriorating because it helps keep us motivated.
Right.
Now that we've got all this crafting stuff in the verse, at some point, you got to keep people wanting crafted items to be out there and available. And one of the ways that we do that is through an upgrade system.
Repair your guns after raids. Yeah, you're gonna have to do regular maintenance on your stuff. And the other thing is, and I think they talk about this in a minute, you don't want it to degrade too quickly, right? Because that would just sap my motivation. Like, it has to be fun. It has to make sense, and it has to be fun. You have to repair guns in DayZ too. Yeah. All right, let's move along.
And you have to replace, so because that then introduces you crafting new components, maybe even better components. So there's some interesting mechanics behind that. But there's also like the things, we are very, very aware that sometimes you have this one item that you don't want to lose. So we also want to make sure that we tailor towards those things that you will not lose it.
Right. You do all that
like
work.
Like my 900 quality parallax,
yeah,
dude.
You don't want it to break.
Kristen,
and just to give a very, very concrete example, because we have been working on that actually for quite some time now.
Ashbringer?
Yes. Finally. No, it's the degradation cycle, because we have been like very vague with all the numbers, but it's more like we are talking about game sessions, and a concrete example. It's not signed off. It's just me giving you a sneak peek of what we have been discussing. So we are talking for a power plant about a week, maybe 1 week and a half of usage, full usage. That means you have the time using it until it reaches zero functionality. So you basically have to replace it.
You say things like that. I have to interject. Are you saying a week of game time or a week of real life time with you not logged in?
No, it's play time. So you playing actively, using the component gradually. So it is not even, so the component is not resting, the component is not turned off, the component is on an average use case throughout a week and a half.
So more than 150 hours before you have to.
Yes.
Well,
so
that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
But like
that's
the
a long
high-level intent
time.
is that it's not something that you're going to have to deal with every play session. It's a long-term mechanic.
Yeah, Ebon's Crux, first-time chatter, hey, welcome to the chat, said, just don't do it like this other game that I'm not going to slag off. I can't do more than 2 hours of gaming without repairing all my gear 20 times. I don't know how.
I'll slag off on it. Maybe they're talking
that's
about.
What you're talking about.
Exactly.
Oh, I forgot the name of that game.
Like I said, the number that I gave
was
is
a zombie
just a very,
game.
very rough number.
Yeah.
It didn't go through any iterations yet.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is like the extreme, right? We are talking about 100% functionality.
Maybe they're talking about
0%
DayZ,
functionality.
Warlord.
There are integration bits in
Yeah.
between that we hope actually increase like interesting games.
Remember, he said this design isn't signed off. It's just what he's currently working on. And again, it's one of the things. It's done, and then it goes to review, and then a bunch of people have voices, and you make changes. Then it goes to PTU. Then a bunch of people, give feedback, and then it's changed. Then it goes to live, and then even more people give feedback, and then it's a process. It continues to go. But I think we're keenly aware of it. I remember when we were about to introduce. Thirst and hunger and player, I can't think of the word right now, but everything, player injuries and stuff. And everybody was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend all my time drinking.
I still want to know when I'm going to be able to take a piss
and stuff like that.
in the game.
Even if it is a bit overwhelming,
sit on the
when it goes
toilet
out,
and drop the
whatever
kids
that
off
is.
at the pool.
That's what continual balance is for. That's what
When
this
does that
process
come
of
to the
running an
game?
open
And how often am I going to
live
have to
environment
do
in the
it?
middle of our development is for, so that we can get this data in real time. We have our ideas, then we can test them, and then we can have better ideas and change stuff. And that's, it's been proven out in the process. So I understand the knee-jerk reaction to degradation being this terrible, terrible thing. But I've known the people here for a long time now. I know what your intents are. I know what what drives you guys. I'm not worried. Even if it's too
right on, cousin
too severe,
Jeebus.
like that damn boom tube thing. That boom tube.
Check
is
out my Moby
ridiculous,
Glass while
Zach.
I'm on the
You will be
toilet.
watching.
You need to tune that thing. You need to bring it down.
I had a chat with him.
It's a little.
There he is.
There he is. He's in chat.
They're talking about the boom
That
tube.
boom tube is. But that's the process. You gotta see. Is this overpowered? I don't know. Let's put it in. Let's see. Oh.
Yeah, they went overboard with that
Yeah.
boom tube, man. That thing needs to be nerfed,
So it's
guys.
like-
Sorry.
We continue to.
Sorry,
continue to
not
tweak
sorry.
And twerk, and I don't twerk. Torsten twerks though.
No.
What? we got time for a couple more.
How much longer does this go?
Is there a plan to provide high-level design briefs for major feature releases to help bridge the gap between initial implementation? As mentioned several times in the show, we did. Now, not as detailed as we used to. This person might be referring to the ye old days where we would write up this entire thing about what we did. We did a design brief on Mixmaster. We did a design brief on an entire game loop about how to make drinks for NPC passengers and keep them happy, whatever. And the reality of development is that so
Right on,
many things have
Twitch.
changed since then.
It needs to be
Systems have
nerfed.
changed, people have changed. We've all grown, and it's just the likelihood that document is anything remotely accurate is. You don't need me to make a comment on it. You should be able to tell. So we moved away from full-on design briefs like that because all too often it just led to disappointment. Because
I mean, Twidget, I just don't think a boom tube needs to be more powerful than a fucking railgun, right? maybe I'm the one who's fucked up, right? But it's just ridiculous.
As again, we ended up
nobody who's
changing it because we had to, because of some technical limitation, or changing it because somebody new joined the team and came up with a better idea. And it's like, well, no, we're not going to stick with the old idea if it's not as good. We want to do the new idea. But now we've changed. You didn't do what you said you were going to do and stuff, even though it's something we believe is better. So we did move away from those old, super detailed design briefs of yore, and maybe that's what they're referring to. But we have made an effort for this last year to update things like the mining guide and the salvage guide and the crafting guide and the medical guide and the cargo guide and stuff like this, and make a lot of our intentions known, make a lot of our philosophies known, and give a glimpse at the future of where this feature is going, as like we did with medical and like we did with crafting lately. So engineering. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there is that effort. It won't be as detailed as it was back in old days.
We have those big new features that we want to explain to people as best we can, especially since we're going to be iterating on them, and we don't want to do in-game versions of those tutorials yet. We want to have those available for people.
Yeah. And then of course we do shows like this, where we talk to the designers and we explore their intentions and what their struggles are and stuff like that. I asked you how you were feeling about crafting. How are you feeling about inventory right now?
It's
be real. Sorry, you can be real.
Yeah, it has improved features. So proximity loot is very nice.
How do y'all feel about inventory,
store with
chat?
you, and you can just hoover up the loot as you go. It needs to be snappy though. It needs to interact like quickly. It needs to be instant. So we're aware of that, and we are proud of the features that it's gone out with, and we are continuing to work on the interactivity and the responsiveness.
Yeah, it's nice to see an improvement to the inventory system. It's frustrating to see some of the things that we wanted to get fixed that didn't make it into the build. It's frustrating to see some of the performance limitations that we haven't been able to solve yet, but we're actively working on it. It'll continue to get better.
Anything in 4.8 you can point to?
Thanks for that comment, Jeebus.
That's a when question.
4 wide?
No, dude.
Yeah, true actually.
I'll tell you when 4.8 comes out. It comes out in the middle of May.
It sounded like will this feature be?
No. Is there something? Is there work in 4.8?
There is. So it can be quite hard to see the icons. So we are going from 5 across the top on a row to 4 across the top on the row, and
so do you make the icons bigger? Or?
Yes, just the whole thing scaled up as far as the inventory icon. And then not in 4.8, but related to that is we will have the support for widescreen for dynamically sizing the inventory panels, and you'll have the option to scale up and down the icons yourself.
Nice. So some of y'all have been watching my stream for a while, and like when I would go into the inventory screen, since I got an ultra widescreen television, I got it set up that way. The inventory screen would be wider over here, right? And over here, over there and over there. So the inventory screen would be wider, and then they came out with a new inventory. It's the same size as everyone else's. Like, I had this whole thing going with my widescreen, and now it doesn't work the same way. That sucks. But they're bringing it back. It's coming back. And like what he just said, we'll be able to scale the size of the fucking items. That'll be very helpful. When we can scroll back to make the inventory be text or scale the UI to our liking, be much happier. Yes, that's what they're talking about. That'd be interesting being able to see it and just like like you do on Windows, like with your fucking, you could see the fucking thumbnail, or you can just see the text, right? That would be cool to be able to do that with inventory. Hell yeah.
Oh.
And if you scale them all the way down, they just turn into a text list.
Right.
Instead of a series of icons, it's just a text list.
Just like you're using Windows.
No.
Okay, that's why I had to ask.
Well, yeah, I said not for 4.8
Okay,
widescreen.
I missed that part. I heard being able to scale your icons, and I was like,
Most of them probably heard that as well.
okay,
yeah.
but in development.
Scale your
For 4.8,
icons,
we went with
Jeebus.
the larger
Where we get the
icons.
larger.
Yeah, just to make it more visible, and then the scaling is coming, and also like the improvements to like the actual rendering of those icons.
Right, you mentioned improving the lighting.
Yeah,
and
yes.
stuff like that. What about the rotation? So some of them, I feel, go a little too fast to tell what they are.
Too fast?
I don't know.
So we have the rotation of the icon within the inventory box.
Yeah.
And if they're broken, that's my fault because I set those up.
Okay.
So
maybe I'm just
maybe they will be fixed. And there's a couple of changes.
Send
going on.
Declan an email at
maybe
Yeah.
I'm just slow.
I did. Don't tell Ian this, but I put the undersuits. I put the undersuits the wrong way
Jeeper.
around, so they're facing
I'm
off.
doing good. We're doing a react to Star Citizen Live.
Two more questions and we're done. Why aren't there any backpack blueprints?
Just didn't have time in 4.7. They'll be there in 4.8.
Oh, so those will be in 4.8.
Yes.
so, some more non-combat.
Yeah, that's true. Backpack doesn't shoot.
And so what are the stats of backpack?
What up,
Well, no,
Collective
to be fair, they won't
Nova?
have stats.
Okay.
Spantool,
Eventually,
Jeeper, good to see y'all.
They would. Stuff like weight. But yeah, it's just nice to craft your own backpack, so we're adding that blueprint in.
Okay. And last question, because I don't know the next time we're going to get to talk about this topic. What do you want to say to people? You know, it's now been out there for a couple weeks now, about a month. I'm not. Nobody's ever looked at Jared and said he knows what day it is.
WORK's fan.
What do you want to say to people about crafting and inventory today?
I think we're very proud of it, and we love the feedback.
Don't
we
be too
receive.
proud of it, buddy.
It's great seeing like people interact with it, and we'll continue to iterate, continue to build upon it. It's nice to see. It's a big feature. It's going to be a long-running feature, so we're excited to have it out.
Get out there and try it if you haven't. Start playing with it. Give it your feedback, because we're going to be working on it actively for quite a while, and there's a lot more features to come and a lot more iteration to come, and I'm really excited about where it's going.
It made friends of mine play mining, even though they don't like mining. So it definitely had some attractiveness to people.
And see, you touched on something, but it brought people who weren't going.
What widget?
They're all wearing glasses.
Are they? They are. How about that?
Going to try one game loop to try
That's the problem
a game
with
loop. And there's and that is how you make a successful MMO, personally. Not just that alone, of course, but inviting people and making it encouraging to them to step outside their comfort zone and explore all the different aspects of a game or how games thrive and live. Like the ability. I was thinking about this earlier. Like all the ways blueprints. There are going to be people who just chase blueprints. The Pokemon players who are just like, oh no, you showed me a list of 350 things. I have to collect all 350.
Collect them all.
And you can set these blueprints across missions for all manner of gameplay. And people can try medical for the first time if they've never done that. People can try salvage for the first time if they've never done that. I mean, it's systems like this are ones that truly touch every single aspect of the game. And if we do it right and we make it fun and it works, then it always has to work. The opportunity there to bring players to more aspects of the game are just fantastic. Blueprints and crafting have been the most exciting feature aspect for me in a long time. Like, this is a big year for me. The biggest feature for me is crafting.
Everybody's excited about blueprints. I log on and ask people what they're doing. Oh, I'm looking for blueprints.
This thing. So the fact that we've started this journey with crafting now,
Have you played it?
the fact that and the fact that I sit on the playthroughs. I sit on the playthroughs.
Good.
To say that I am a bad pilot is an understatement. I have peripheral neuropathy, and it twitches every once in a while and stuff like that. You know how people like blame their controllers? No, I blame my own hands and whatever. So I'm not good with anything that requires a lot of fine control, unfortunately. And
Who
flying through the
fucking
trench run
cares?
and racing the distortion and whatnot. I'm like, nope, not. I'm happy just watching. I'm happy just watching, and relishing in the enjoyment of other people. So having that crafting journey start, in 4.7, having tactical strike groups start in 4.8. It's a really exciting time for the project. Have we gone live to PTU yet, or Evocati?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Have we told them?
Here's the spoiler. Everybody brace yourselves.
Oh. No. Well, Tactical Strike Groups is in 4.8. Super cool. Get into PTU when that goes live.
It's
All right.
It's been cool seeing people become better pilots just doing some of those runs.
Jared, why did you stop? You wanted to say a third thing about the battlecruiser? Did I want to say something about the battlecruiser? What more would I say that a portfolio update and a Galactopedia update?
What's this battlecruiser they're talking about, Twitchit? Is that the Javelin? Is that what they're talking about with this battlecruiser? They've been so vague about it. I don't even know. Maybe I'm missing something. The Odin. The Odin. It's bigger than the Javelin. Oh.
Yeah, they've been revealing some details about it. Recently we found out it's called the Odin.
I did miss something.
Yep, and it's big. It's really big.
Nice.
And it's the final ship they're ever going to sell as a pledge in concept. So after this one, there's no more concept ships available to buy. It's all going to be real ships that are available to pledge for.
Hey, Rebel. And now you know, everybody. Now you know. Now I know. The Odin. Very nice.
Haven't already done. All right. So that's it for Star Citizen Live. Torsten's looking.
Theory has it, or rumor has it, it's one of the, as you watch Squadron 42 play through, it shows up as one of the Bengal carriers that has the big giant turrets on it. Because the Bengal does not have turrets, but you see several of them in the playthrough.
Yeah, he has no idea. It's like, that's it for Star Citizen Live. Thanks for watching. There will be no show next week. No show next week?
No.
Yeah, no show next week.
Show.
We're actually doing a pre-tape for some other stuff that we got to do, but we'll be back the week after that as we head into the most exciting time of the year, May, and our big ship showcase and
Big
Big
ship showcase.
ship showcase.
Big ship showcase.
And that's my ironclad guarantee. All right, take it easy, everybody. I'm Jared. That's Rick, Declan, Torsten. See you later, everybody. Take care. Bye.
All right, everybody. There you have it. Now you know. Thanks for watching. Thank you. See y'all next time